All right, it's Mickey here. Before we fully get into this interview slash podcast, I just want to say this is kind of an offshoot of the Three Horsemen podcast. You know, it's just me, Mickey. So it's gonna be one horseman. We're going into Mickey's clubhouse to hang out with KENXYRO. KENXYRO is one of my friends, so it kind of turns into a podcast in the middle of it. So it's not like a full interview, but I feel like it's pretty good, and I hope you enjoy it. We kind of talk about how KENXYRO has been gone from like YouTube and such. So I don't know. I feel like this is pretty entertaining and fun. So yeah, just enjoy it. Okay, well here we go. We're in Mickey's clubhouse. First time doing a sort of interview thing, so it's gonna be interesting. We got KENXYRO here. How you doing?
Hello everyone, I'm doing great.
Well, I just kind of wanted to talk about like like what you're doing now. Like what's up with that. So like, let's just get into it. What you doing now, Ken?
Right now I'm like not doing much. Pandemic going on. I don't think many people are really working in my field. Yeah, things are rough. This year has been rough on everyone, and it's no different for me as well. Things have been slow. Sometimes it's been good, but most of the times it's been just really bad. And for me, it's not just been this year. For the past couple of years, it's been rough. But yeah, we have our community, we have our online stuff, and that's really fun. I've been spending my time playing Fall Guys. Video games keeps things interesting.
Yeah, played with you like maybe like what, a month ago? Like on stream. That was really fun. It was really nice that we got you your dub.
Yeah, that was my first win on Fall Guys, and we got that on stream.
Man, that was like a really wholesome moment too. I distinctly remember like you going, "That's awesome." I'm like, "Yes, yes, it is."
Maybe this is the trick to like winning this one.
No,
Who
did you
did
win?
it?
Was it you?
I don't know. I did it.
Yes!
Whoa.
I missed the
That's
dive, but
perfect.
squad dub.
Yo, we were so close.
I shouldn't have dived. My finger slipped. I should have just grabbed. But you got it though. Let's go. Dub 2.
First victory. This is my first win in this game.
You had to get it. You had to get it, kid. I was like, I'm gonna dive. You got this, kid. I'm gonna throw it. I'm throwing for you, buddy. And it worked.
That was awesome.
But so I know that you like to travel a lot as well. So like, I'm sure that's being affected, right?
Oh yeah, I haven't gone anywhere for so long. I think the last time I went anywhere was maybe 1 year ago, or even earlier. It's been a long time, man. Travel is not gonna happen until like 2021. So I guess can't do anything about it. Just gotta live with it.
Does not sound that fun. But at least like you said, you've been gaming and stuff, so it's really good. Is there anything that you're like interested in, like any upcoming games that you're like hopped up about?
Yeah.
I have an idea, but
Yeah, there's this certain game I've been interested in for like 8 years now. 2012. So back in 2012, my favorite game of all time was Skyrim. There was nothing I loved more than that game. So when I finished that game, I was playing it and replaying it, and so I was wondering what's my next game that I want to look forward to. And I came across this trailer for this game called Witcher 3, and it was perfect. It was everything I loved about Skyrim, and it sort of felt like an upgraded version of it. Everything negative that you feel about Skyrim, Witcher fixed it. So I was then excited about Witcher 3. And then when I was actually just looking at gameplay trailers, I had a thought. CD Projekt Red, the developers who worked on Witcher 3, what if they work on a RPG but set in the future where we are not fighting with swords and magic, but we are fighting with guns and all that? And do you know what happened 1 week after that? They teased Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, okay. It was 1 week after I thought that, and they teased Cyberpunk. And holy shit, since that day, I've been looking forward to playing this game. And this was back in 2012. Then in 2013, we got the first look at Cyberpunk. It was not gameplay or anything, it was just like a CGI trailer. But I knew the year they are gonna release this game, I'm gonna clear my schedule and I'm just gonna play this game for like a month straight. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 this November. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, that was a really long wait. I distinctly remember too when that was all happening. A lot of people were worried. They're like, "Oh no, oh no!" But finally, we have our closure. I'm very happy about that. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god. But so something I've really wanted to like kind of talk to you about, and I haven't really had the chances. Like, so like, what do you think like your upbringing is like? You could go into as much detail as you want, like as a kid up or like So how do you think you got to like where you are today?
Oh man, where do I begin? I think most of my life I've just been doing whatever I feel like doing in the moment. I don't think I really think about complicated stuff like what am I gonna do in my life, or am I doing this? Am I going anywhere? So I don't really think about that much. But that doesn't mean I don't have plans. I do have like goals, and I do things to reach those goals. But most of my life, I've just been sort of a live in the moment type of guy. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got here. So in terms of my translations, just to give you an example, when I was a kid, I used to watch this really good anime called Detective Conan. Actually, I still do, and because it's still going on, it didn't finish. So one of the episodes in that anime, it shows a murder that happens, and sort of the trick to figuring out that murder is in the Japanese language. You need to understand Japanese in order to solve that murder. And when I saw that episode, it got me thinking, like, if I had to translate this very episode from Japanese to English, I can't do that because it's impossible. The letters, the trick uses very specific Japanese characters, and that just doesn't happen. It's one of those things that just gets lost in translation. So that was my beginning. That got my interest into translation because even though it was impossible, I wanted to figure out a way around that situation. That's how I got started with translations, and I started, I guess you could say, fan translating, just things that interested me. I started translating those in my free time just to learn more, get more experience. But then came a time when I got bored of that. So I stopped studying Japanese completely. Not a good idea. If you are studying any language and if you leave that in middle, after 1 year, after 2 years of not using it, you're gonna suffer really a lot. You're gonna forget lots of things, and you're gonna be basically you're gonna have to start over from a really, really starting point. So that happened to me, and my return to Japanese was in, I think, 2015 when Dragon Ball Super started again, because that got my interest again in Japanese, and I wanted to translate, and I didn't want to wait for subs. So that got my interest back in Japanese. So I started my studying again. Then I guess when Dragon Ball Super ended, then I again lost interest. But these days, good thing, I'm back on my Japanese studies. I spend my mornings doing my revision and learning more and more.
Yeah, I could kind of like agree with the whole, if you forget your studies and you don't study for a couple of years, you kind of like forget, because living in a, I guess, Hispanic household, as a kid they were trying to teach me Spanish and stuff, and then they stopped, and now I'm just like I'm completely lost. Like, I understand it for the most part, but like sometimes they say full sentences to me and I'm super confused. I'm like, what? So I completely understand. So you also used to like stream a lot and such, and so like what happened? Yeah, like why'd you stop, I guess?
Oh yeah, so I think I used to stream a lot back in 2016, 17, around that time.
Yeah.
So basically my main reason to stop streaming was my health. First it started with my ear. It first started with my jaw, because I had a surgery for my jaw. I got it damaged and I couldn't speak. So if I can't speak, then I can't stream. And it took me like 2 months on that. After that recovery, when I fixed my jaw, I had another surgery for my ear. And if your ear is hurt, they told me like I had stitches. I still have like mark from that, but like at that time I had stitches behind my ear, so I can't put my headphones in. If I can't put my headphones in, I can't really do like stream. Like if I can even use earphones, that still hurt because my eardrum on my left ear completely got destroyed. So yeah, I couldn't do that couple of months. So I had 2 surgeries. This was back in 2017. After that, my health just kept on going on decline. And when it was not, it was something else. Even this year, I had another surgery for my. I think I had 2 already. I had 2 in August and 1 before that. I had my jaw surgery again, this time to fix it permanently, and thankfully it did. Now I don't have to go in again. So my jaw is fixed now. But my main reason for not streaming has been just my health. It's been on the decline since like 2017. And it's just not my health. I still have like other things in life going on. Last year, my mom was really sick. So I was with my mom. So I couldn't stream even back then. I think by the end of this year, I might return to streaming if possible. I would really love to, because I remember some of the best memories I have of my YouTube or Twitch is streaming on YouTube. That game, horror game called The Evil Within 2, and that was such an awesome experience to just stream the game and everybody in the chat interacting with everyone. I really hope I can do that again by the end of this year. You never know. I really hope I can.
Yeah, no, I definitely do too. Man, that sucks. All that like health stuff and whatnot. I hope that honestly like gets a lot better, because like I knew about that, but like, yeesh, like that just sounds like a handful to deal with. But you want to come back to streaming? That's really nice to hear. I distinctly remember donating to you as Kanye West at one point, because I was like a big meme because he followed you on Twitter, and I think everybody in the chat was like, "Oh my gosh, is that actually Kanye West?" And that was probably like,
that was such a really awesome time.
it was definitely one of like the funniest things to ever like happen. Yeah. But regardless, so like, do you like? I guess let's just kind of like shift like, you know, anime and gaming stuff. So like, what do you think would be like a good anime for like a beginner?
Beginner,
just somebody who has not watched anime.
I usually recommend people to watch Death Note, because it's sort of tells people that anime is not simply for kids. Like, it's animations, but it's not for kids. It's not Disney. It's not your Tom and Jerry. It sets apart anime from, you know, other animated series like Disney and cartoons. So I usually recommend people to watch Death Note, but I understand like it's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to watch such a serious show about killing criminals. So if somebody wants to watch an anime which is in line with what majority shonen and other series out there are, then I would recommend, I guess, Full Metal Alchemist, because it's a very well-rounded anime. It's got comedy, it's got seriousness, it's got great characters, and you could say it has a little bit of everything. So that's the anime I usually recommend to people. These 2, Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist.
To be clear, do you mean Full Metal Alchemist or do you mean Brotherhood?
Well, that's the thing. That's the debate I have with people. When I tell them, they're like, okay, which one do I watch, Full Metal Alchemist or Brotherhood? Because see, there's 2 types of Full Metal fans. Some who hate Brotherhood and some who hate the first one. I don't know. It's mostly just on preference. Personally, I prefer Brotherhood, but I watched the original first and then I watched Brotherhood. But I would recommend people to watch Brotherhood because I just like it more personally.
Yeah, I actually recently watched it myself. That's why I was asking, because I'm like, okay, looks like I made the right choice.
What did you think about that then?
No, I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was just like really good. Like you said, like there are times some of the openings get stuck in my head. For instance, Lean
hell
Lee
yeah.
has a
Yeah.
rendition of Again, and I just think it's fantastic. It is just
And the music, yeah. The music in
Yes.
Full Metal is amazing.
that's something I've noticed with just anime in general. Like if you watch the anime and then actually like listen to the music and you understand what the lyrics are, like it just hits you more. Like I really don't know how to explain it too hard, but like it hits.
I totally get what you're saying because to give you a recent example, really popular anime of this year, Demon Slayer. This there was this episode in that episode 19 which was trending on Twitter. It was everywhere. If you exist on the internet, there's no way you've not heard about Demon Slayer this year. When that scene happens in episode 19, there's a background music that plays, and but if you look up the lyrics or if you understand Japanese, then you will see how that music connects with that scene and it makes it even better. That lyrics are written specifically for that scene, and it's amazing. So if you don't know, like if you watched the anime but you haven't heard the song or if you haven't looked up the lyrics, definitely do that.
Man, yeah, anime music's definitely like a very, very big thing. I mean, you look at the "You Say Run" meme where they just put it on top of anything. Like, oh look, it fits. I remember when that was going on. That one was insane. But yeesh, just anime in general is just really awesome. Like, for instance, Gintama, probably one of my no, it's definitely my top anime for a couple reasons. One of them a little personal. I might talk about it eventually, but I think right now I'm gonna keep it just kind of chill. But Gintama, dog, you and this one other guy who recommended it to me, like I cannot thank you both enough. Like it is fantastic. Like you think it's one thing, but then it turns into another, and you're just like, yes, please, give me more.
Yeah. I also have like great memories of Gintama. I actually watched it while I was traveling, and I didn't have anything else. I just had Gintama there to watch, and I think it was during some holiday or something where I was stuck. I just couldn't go anywhere, so I just watched Gintama straight away from my cab, my home, from my cab ride, my train to my buses to my planes, whatever I was doing, I had Gintama with me. That's like it stuck with me so bad.
If I want anybody to get anything out of this like speak is just watch Gintama. I actually have like I have like a sticker on my PS4 of the Gintama crew. I guess let's go to gaming. What's the first game that you remember playing?
Very first game I remember playing.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guess?
Let's see here. I'm gonna say Mario. That's my guess.
Super Mario.
Yeah, I thought so. Like I'm gonna say Mario. That has to be it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah, it was. So basically, I was, I guess, 5 years old, maybe even younger, 5 or 6 years old. So, my dad got this Nintendo system, and my first memory of playing Mario was just him sitting next to me and explaining to me that this is Mario and the second player is Green Mario.
Green Mario.
He didn't say that, but like, second player is Green Mario. Yeah, that was my first game. That's my first memory of video game ever.
Yeah, that sounds pretty similar to me. Like I'm pretty sure. Actually, wait a minute. Okay, Ken.
Yeah,
This is gonna sound kind of weird. How old are you?
I am 25.
Okay.
I will be 25 next month.
Okay. I thought so. I thought you were older than me. Okay, because I'm younger than you. And no, yeah, I'm about the same. Like it was definitely like, because I grew up with like Super Nintendo, a bunch of retro games, and retro gaming is definitely like something that I like a lot. So anytime there's like a game that comes out, most of the time it's an indie game, where it's like kind of retro like. Oh my gosh. So yeah, definitely Mario is there for me as well. But like, so Cyberpunk isn't out yet. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite game at the moment? Probably Witcher, right?
Yeah, The Witcher 3 is my favorite. It's been my favorite game since 2016. Now, funny story, Witcher 3 came out in 2015. When I played it, when I finished the main story, Skyrim was still my favorite game of all time since 2011. I mean, 4 years. 4 years, Skyrim was number one. Nothing could beat that. And Witcher started releasing its DLCs. And I finished the final DLC they had for Witcher. I just sat down. Right now I'm sitting in my chair in the exact same spot I was sitting back there when I finished Witcher 3. I just stopped, put down the controller. I said, man, now this is my favorite game of all time. Skyrim is now number 2 because that ending, once that ending hits, and it's perfect. I can't imagine this series ending better in any way. So after that, after I finished the game, I started getting interested in Witcher universe even more. So I started reading the books. Now, clear thing about me. First thing about me, I have never read books in my life. The only book before Witcher I read was Death Note. For those who don't know, Death Note actually has a novel. It's called Los Angeles BB Murder Cases, and it's about Naomi Misora, a character from, you might have seen her in the anime, Rape Amber's wife. They actually met her way before Kira Kills. They mention it in the anime briefly, but it's a really great story. Naomi Misora is the person who actually told Elle to learn a type of martial arts. I forgot the exact name for it, but a type of martial arts. So you see, there is a scene in Death Note where Elle kicks Light in the face when they are both handcuffed. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
When they're fighting, I think it's in the second arc when they are both handcuffed. So that when Elle kicks him in the face, that kick is actually something he learns on a recommendation from Naomi Misora, and all of this is in the novel. So when I read this novel, this was the very first novel I ever read. Apart from that, I couldn't finish any other book ever in my life. Every time I would try, I would read a couple of pages and I would just fall asleep. I just couldn't. But then I started reading Witcher books and I finished all 7 of them. So that's how crazy I am for Witcher.
Yeah. I know Witcher 3 was a lot of people's like first Witcher game. Do you think that's like blasphemous? Or do you think that's like alright, just based upon the story? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think I understand that. Like, I don't mind that because Witcher 1 came out like, now it's been 15 years, over 15 years, and it doesn't really like, it didn't age well because they made a RPG which was great for its time. It wasn't bad, but now if you try to go back and play it, you are definitely gonna feel like, yeah, okay, this doesn't feel good. Witcher 2 still holds up. It's not that bad. Witcher 3 is bad. It's getting a next gen upgrade, so it's still fairly new.
But like, so story wise, do you think you're missing anything like too crazy, too important?
Oh,
What about that?
a lot, quite a lot. So Witcher 1 game actually starts at the point where the final book ends. So you have 7 books of story, then you have the first game, then you have the second game, and then you have Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is like the finale to the entire franchise. Lots of people, like when I talk about Witcher on Twitter, I see lots of people say that Witcher 3 is overrated because many people call it the best game of the decade. I call it the best game of the decade. And people say that the game is overrated, and I disagree. I disagree a lot. For a simple reason, I think it's actually underrated because most people who play Witcher, they play Witcher 3, just Witcher 3. Feel if you watched, let's say, Avengers Infinity War, and you didn't watch any movie before that, if you were to rate just Avengers Infinity War, I don't think you're gonna rate it really good because you are missing 10 years of story before Infinity War, right? That's the case with Witcher 3. Most people just play Witcher 3. They just don't even like read the summary of the stuff that happened before. If you do, trust me, the payoff, like if you read the books, you don't even need to play Witcher 1 or 2. You can simply read like a summary of what happened. And then if you play Witcher 3, the payoff is so good it's like I can't express it in words. I really hope like when Netflix covers the later parts of the story, they really do it justice, because they just have this thing on a silver platter ready for them. They just have to adapt it exactly as it's written in the book, and it will be great. This is very different from like the Game of Thrones situation. Game of Thrones everybody loved until final season happened, but in the case of Witcher, that can't happen because the finale is already written. I've read it, and I'm telling you, it's really great.
Yeah. See, this is good information because, to be honest, I had no idea that the books were before even the first game. So like, this is like knowledge. Like, I feel like a lot of the, like, I guess, hate and whatnot is just based upon just like not knowing stuff like that. Just the little things. Like, a lot of people don't like to do research on their games, and they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna play this. So like, knowing all that definitely like changes my perspective a little bit, because everybody says you could just play Witcher 3. So like, hearing it from you really puts into perspective. Yeah, you should definitely look up what's happening beforehand, or just at least read the books if you have the time, stuff like that. So that's actually really good to do. I appreciate that like a lot.
Like, just to give you a little bit perspective of what you're missing, if you've seen the Netflix Witcher show, the Ciri they have in the show, she's like 17 years old, right?
Okay.
You could say like maybe 16. The books, when the story starts, Ciri is actually 13 years old, or maybe even 12
Okay,
or
so it's
13 years
before.
old. Yeah. No, in the show they basically like changed a lot of things.
Oh, they changed stuff.
The
Okay,
book,
gotcha.
they if you are comparing the books to the Netflix series, it's like two completely different things. They took the characters, they took the bits of stories, but things are just completely different. The entire arc with Ciri in the Netflix Witcher series, that doesn't exist in the books. There's no such thing. And the books are so deep. Each character is explored a lot, and each character is so much better as compared to the show. To give you an example, the final line that happens in Netflix series, Ciri meets Geralt, and she asks him, "Who's Yennefer?" That's the final scene in the Netflix series. This exact scene in the books, she actually has like an entire paragraph of lines. She expresses her thoughts, everything she went through, and they simply removed that entire paragraph and then turned it into one line, that's "Who's Yennefer?" It loses the entire meaning of the entire story, because the last episode was titled Something More, and nobody who just watches the Netflix series will understand what that means. In the books, they actually explore that has a lot more meaning than anyone would realize. And in the books, the series starts off at the age of 12, and in Witcher 3, Ciri is actually like 22 or 25. I think 20, something along that line. So yeah, that's the amount of story that you are missing from her 12 years of age to 20 at least. So like 8 years. It's quite a lot if you're just going to Witcher 3.
Yeah, I just saw in the books are like 300, 400 pages and whatnot. So like, I could definitely see them going way more in depth. I mean, usually books do that regardless. So that's actually like, I love that. That's so cool. I'm getting excited now.
Yeah, if you are planning on getting into Witcher series, definitely read the book. Definitely, because oh man, I can't put it in words. Man. So good, so good. I literally have like posters on my wall right now in front of me, and it's all Witcher stuff.
Reminds me of Halo. Like for me, like I really loved Halo as a kid and whatnot, and I started reading some of the books, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, woo. Now Halo's kind of but.
I didn't know Halo had books.
Oh, they have a bunch of books. Trust me. They, not like they're really good. Like I enjoy some of them a lot. Some of them aren't like, it's kind of like Star Wars in a sense, where some of them aren't like, I guess they're like different canon. But some of the books are actually like taking place in the like the game story. Like a lot of it's like before, after. Like right now, I believe like Infinite is going to like, I guess, coincide with the book that's coming out like right before the game shows up. So it's like Yeah, they're doing a bunch of stuff. Like, for instance, for Halo 5, it was really annoying because, like, a lot of people didn't read the book. And a lot of the story with Halo 5, this is the reason why Halo 5 had a lot of complaints, like 4 and 5 and whatnot, because you had to read the books to understand the story. Like, they didn't just go from 3, 4 to 5. They were like 3, book, 4, book, 5, book. It didn't make any sense. Yeah. Oh, man.
This
Like,
is like a similar situation to, Witcher, because they both share the same story. Books,
yeah.
books and games. So
But if it
like
happened
to get the
beforehand.
full.
The thing is, you're saying it happened beforehand, though. Like the books were already done.
Yeah,
The books
but
were
like
before the story, so.
yeah, but like both the franchises, they share their stories. Like there's books and
True.
there's games. If you're looking for the full experience, you need to do both. You can't just play the games and just call it a day. But
That's
I guess
true.
you can, right? You can, but like you're not gonna get the full experience out of it.
Yeah, I just feel like it'd be a lot easier to do with Witcher, because like you just read those books and then you're like, all right, I caught up, time to play Witcher 1. Whereas with Halo, like it's just a jumbled mess and you're just confused on like when to read this, when to read that, you know? Like there's no like there's no cohesive story. Like you're just gonna be confused. Like that's the point I'm trying to make. Like I feel like with Witcher, you wouldn't be as confused. You'd be like, okay, just read the book. Halo, it's not gonna be like that whatsoever. No, man. Like I said, I want this to be like 30 to 45 minutes. So I have like maybe like 1 or 2 more questions for you, and then I guess I could kind of let you go. I just want to know like so do you have any like tips for like succeeding in what you're doing, like any content creation tips, or do you think it's just like luck?
No, I think it's luck, but don't get me wrong. First of all, I think the most important thing about succeeding on YouTube or Twitch, whatever, is consistency. If you're not consistent, nothing's gonna happen. Second of all, you need some sort of base content to build. If you have a channel, don't worry about views. Just start focusing on quality content. Then luck comes third. You need luck to bring people in. You need to depend on maybe, let's say, a viral video, and that's luck. Sometimes it's not luck because sometimes people plan ahead and they specifically plan when to release a certain video for it to blow up, and it works. But you need to depend on luck for viral videos to some point. But the thing is, if luck is the only thing you depend on, that's not going to work, because even if one of your video goes viral, then what are you going to do next? Like people are not just going to subscribe to your channel just because your one video went viral. If one of your video goes viral and they check your channel and you already have that base content, like quality content on your channel related to that, viral video, then they're going to subscribe. So I think it's really important to first be consistent. Second, consistently form some sort of base content. Try to make like a series on your channel. One thing like was trying to do when I was trying to be consistent was make a series where I compare manga and anime of certain series. Like I read the manga and I watch the anime for most of the series that I love, such as Demon Slayer, Doctor Stone, Dragon Ball Super. So it's really fun to compare the two and see the differences. So I thought, okay, why not just make a series out of it? So I would make a video similar to that. Then when it comes to gaming, you need to understand that you need to make a certain type of content that suits your personality. Don't try to be someone else, because even if it can get you some views in the short run, it's not gonna last. Just try to be yourself. Bring some originality and individuality in your content. Once that base content is formed, then it's just consistently making videos, and then depending on viral videos to bring more views and bring more subscribers. That's how I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Understandable, especially with the way YouTube works. Like you definitely need that consistency. But if you don't have the quality there, obviously people are just gonna be like, oh, he's just putting out videos with no thought and whatnot. So I guess I see what you're saying. But no, that's good. I'm not really necessarily asking for me. I just want to see, maybe if somebody else is trying to get up and coming, how it be.
I know, I understand. Like it's like I'm not like an expert, but like I think it's good
Yeah.
to hear different opinions. 'Cause,
Exactly.
you can like even if you learn a little bit from a little bit from someone else, you can form your own opinions, and maybe you can come up with your own solution for how to approach YouTube.
Now, speaking of question for me, this is a question for me. Do you still play fighters? Like at all?
Sometimes.
Because
When I play fighters, I just stop playing ranked because it takes forever to find a match. And the only time I play fighter is when it's with friends. Otherwise, it's just unplayable.
okay. Because remember last time I was really bad and you kicked me in, but I definitely got better. So I'm just saying, we got to get back into that
Yeah.
at some point.
So we can do that.
All right. Well, I think enough time has really passed. So Ken, is there anything you really want to like shout out, before I let you go?
Not really, but I would say just look after yourself, man. It's been a crazy year, and I think during this time, many people are not feeling good. They are stuck. Maybe they have more responsibilities than others. They're stuck at home. Maybe school. They're doing their schoolwork from home. Everything is a mess. It can be, really easy to lose your mind during these times. So I just want to say just relax, calm down, give yourselves time, give yourselves, be kind to yourself, and don't punish yourself for just uh, something that nobody could have any control over, such as this pandemic. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. I'm right with you on that one because, man, things are tough. Things are tough. But yeah, no, that's nice. I appreciate that. That's really nice to hear. Okay, Ken. With that, I guess that's time to leave the clubhouse.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. I just added some clap
That
sound effects.
that was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.